जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। गोपीजना वल्लभ गिरिवर धारी। गोपीजना वल्लभ गिरिवर धारी। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन। यमुना तीरवनचारी। यमुना तीरवनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवर धारी। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन। यमुना तीरवनचारी। यमुना तीरवनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमद हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस AC भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 30, Text number 5. Suparnaskandham arudho Meru Shringamivambuda Pitavasamani Griva Kurvan Vitimira Disha. Suparnaskandham arudho Meru Shringamivambuda Pitavasa Manigriva Kurvan Vitimira Disha. Suparnaskandham arudho Meru Shringamivambuda Pitavasa Manigriva Kurvan Vitimira Disha. Suparnaskandamaruddho Merushringamivambuddha Pitavasa Manigriva Kurvan Vitimiradisha Suparnaskandamaruddho Merushringamivambuddha Pitavasa Manigriva Kurvan Vitimiradisha. It is Arudha. Okay, anyone? Suparnaskandamaruddho Merushringamivambuddha Pitavasa Manigriva Kurvan Vitimiradisha. Ladies, please. Suparnaskandamaruddho Merushringamivambuddha Pitavasa Manigriva Kurvan Vitimiradisha. Merushringamivambuddha Pitavasa Manigriva Kurvan Vitimiradisha. Suparna of Garuda, the carrier of Lord Vishnu. Skandam, the shoulder. Arudha, sitting on. Meru, of the mountain named Meru. Shringam, on the summit. Iva, like. Ambuddha, a cloud. Pitavasa, wearing yellow garments. Manigriva, his neck decorated with the Kaustubha jewel. Kurvan, making. Vitimira, free from darkness. Dishaha, all directions. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The personality of Godhead appearing on the shoulder of Garuda seemed like a cloud resting on the summit of the mountain known as Meru. The transcendental body of the personality of Godhead was covered by attractive yellow garments, and his neck was decorated with the jewel known as Kaustubhamani. The bodily effulgence of the Lord dissipated all the darkness of the universe. Purport. As stated in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, chapter 22, text 31, Krishna, Surya Sama, Maya Haya Andhakara, Yaha Krishna, Taha Nahi Maya Radhikara. The Lord is just like the effulgent sun. Consequently, whenever the Supreme Personality of Godhead is present, there cannot be darkness or ignorance. Actually, this dark universe is illuminated by the sun, but the sun and moon simply reflect the bodily effulgence of the Supreme Lord. In the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, text number 8, the Lord says, Prabhasmi Shashi Surayoho. I am the illuminating energy of both the sun and the moon. The conclusion is that the origin of all life is the bodily effulgence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is also confirmed in the Brahma Samhita, Yasya Prabha Prabhavato Jagadanda Koti. Being illuminated by the bodily effulgence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, everything is freed from all darkness. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chaksur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gada Mahyam Tadati Swapadantikam Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So the Prachetas have been meditating for 10,000 years and being pleased by their austerities, especially the austerity of meditating on the set of mantras given by Lord Shiva. The Supreme Personality of Godhead appeared before them. This is the prayojana, the fruit of this devotional tapasya that they performed. Without a fruit, without something to receive at the end of it, end of doing something, without a conclusion to it, there isn't a purpose for doing anything. Even spiritualists have a purpose. In fact, everyone else has some purpose. They want money, they want fame, they want knowledge, they want some position in the world. But there's nothing that is done without any purpose. Now, most people live their life without a sense of purpose, which is why there is frustration. But the whole idea of the Vedic knowledge is to have an ultimate purpose. It's called the prayojana. And the fruit or the purpose of all of it is that Krishna is pleased. That for Krishna to be pleased, we have to have a relationship with Krishna. Otherwise, we would know whether Krishna is pleased or not. So there is sambandha. How to, or to first begin with understanding that there is a relationship with Krishna, and each one of us has the inviolable access to that relationship with Krishna. This is called sambandha. Knowledge of relationship of Krishna with every living entity, of Krishna with every aspect of energy, relationship between us and the different energies of Krishna. How are these all interrelated? That knowledge is called sambandha gyan. Now that I have that knowledge, what do I do with it? There is a abhideya, a process, a sense of utility. Because I know how to use things. And that is called abhideya. And now that I use it in Krishna's service, what is the conclusion? What is the fruit of it? Prayojana means the fruit. Krishna is pleased. The darkness of my heart is dispelled. Loving feelings for Krishna awaken and manifest in different ways that I can serve Krishna, etc. This is the prayojana, the fruit. So the Prachetas, the fruit of their austerity is that the Supreme Lord appeared before them. And tomorrow the discussion is His form, very unique form. Usually appears in 4 arms. He appeared with 8 arms. So that's for tomorrow. So here it says Suparna Skandham Arudha. Arudha means sitting on. Skandha, shoulders. Suparna, Garuda. Every personality has a vehicle. The vehicle or vahana of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is either one of 2. Mostly Garuda or Hanuman. So in most temples, there is Garuda. I would have liked to have Garuda and Hanuman outside, but Jitendra Prabhu put 2 lamps there before we could think about Garuda and Hanuman. But usually Garuda and Hanuman are at the door. And Garuda and Hanuman are always not sitting like we sit, but they have a special posture in which they sit. That's like a ready posture, that they can always spring into action whenever the Supreme Lord says, let's go, my devotee is calling me. So every personality has a vehicle, Vahana. The President of the United States has Air Force One. Well, they have, because it's a distinction. A great personality has a special vehicle. So, Lord Indra has an elephant, Airavata. The Mother Ganges, her Vahana vehicle is a crocodile. Lord Shiva, he travels on a bull, Nandi. Mother Parvati or Durga, she travels on a tiger. Ganesha, big, but he travels on a little mouse, Mushika. And his brother Skanda, or he's sometimes called Kumara, he travels on a peacock. So somebody was describing that in Lord Shiva's house, there is always a problem with their vehicles. Hey Dad, your car is obstructing my vehicle, like that. Because in Lord Shiva's house, see, her car, the tiger, and his car, the bull, they're not friends. Because the tiger's always ready to pounce on the bull. And his older son's vehicle is the peacock, and his younger son's vehicle is the mouse. And peacocks and mice don't get along either. So the brothers also have a problem with their vehicles. Another problem is the peacocks don't like snakes, and Lord Shiva has snakes all over his body. So there's a problem there as well. So it is described that in Lord Shiva's house, householder life, there is always some disturbance because they don't get along with what's going on. The only reason that family stays together, it is described as Lord Shiva is always chanting Hare Krishna. So it's the power of the holy name that keeps the family together. So the Supreme Lord appeared on Garuda's shoulders very quickly to reciprocate with these prachetas. And his beauty is described. Meru Shringam Ivambuddha. The Bhagavatam has certain metaphors and analogies or similes to describe certain beautiful phenomena. Now, it's not that the Supreme Lord is like a black cloud, and Garuda is not like a mountain. But these similes are given just so that we can appreciate what it might look like. Because nothing material can compare to the beauty of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And we haven't seen anything spiritual. So for us, the only comparison is with things in this world. So the comparison is a dark cloud on the summit of a great mountain. Here the mountain is Meru. Now for most people, that may not be a beautiful scene. For most people, we may never even see something like that. Because we live in the cities, and at best we see John Hancock building covered in cloud, and we say, oh, Meru Varanam Ivam Buddha. Oh, that must be the case. We never see mountains. Where do we see? Unless we live somewhere where there are mountains or we travel to a mountain. But it is supposedly beautiful. And for us, or for many of us, it may not be beautiful, is because one sees beauty according to the modes of nature. For a hog, a female hog is extremely attractive. For someone else who's in the mode of passion, something else is attractive. For someone in the mode of goodness, something else is attractive. So what we say is attractiveness may not be common for everyone. But there is an absolute standard of attractiveness, and that is given in the Bhagavatam. The great sages, they appreciate this as beauty. That there is a dark cloud at the summit of a great mountain. That's very beautiful to see. Krishna is called Ghanashyama or Meghashyama because his bodily hue or color is like that a fully ready rain cloud. And then his features are described. Pitavasa. Pitavasa means covered with yellow silken cloth. And Manigriva. There were two brothers, right? Nalakuvera and Manigriva. This is not that Manigriva. Manigriva means one whose neck is decorated with the Kaustuba jewel. These are indicators of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Why is it important? Because if ever Krishna comes in front of us, we should recognize, oh, this is Krishna. It shouldn't be someone that we ignore or not know. Oh, who is this? Many times Prabhupada was asked, have you seen God? And Prabhupada would ask them back, yes. But if you don't know how God looks like, how will you recognize? If Krishna were to come and stand in front of you, how would you know? So Manigriva, his neck is decorated with this beautiful Kaustuba jewel. Kurvan Vitimiradisha. And by his presence, it dissipated all darkness. The two meanings of darkness. One is the literal meaning that there is no darkness. Krishna is so effulgent. In fact, it is his effulgence that sustains and nourishes all of existence. Brahmano hi pratishtaham. We are all sustained because of the Brahman effulgence. That's why we say aham brahmasmi. We are particles, emanations of his Brahman feature. We are spiritual. That effulgence is what nourishes the entire spiritual and material worlds. And within this material world, this particular anda or egg, cosmic egg, is created out of ignorance. Therefore, it is dark. And it needs a source of light. So we have the sun and the moon. And without the sun and moon, we cannot live. We cannot be nourished. In fact, it's the sunlight that nourishes all of us. On a more universal level, we are all sustained by solar energy. Everything that we eat, we drink, our existence is nourished by the solar energy. All the plants, they absorb through the photoelectric process. They catalyze everything. They nourish the plants, and then we eat those plants. We either eat the plants, or many people eat the animals that eat plants. There's still solar energy in some form or the other. So therefore the Brahmanas, when they recite the Brahma Gayatri, they glorify the sun. Most people think it's the glorification of the sun, but it's actually glorification of Krishna who's energizing the sun. Throughout the universe, Bhu, Bhuvar, and Svargalokas. It's a prayer to Krishna, our meditation upon Krishna for dissipating darkness within this universe and nourishing us through the agency of Savita, that is the sun. And the moon nourishes all the vegetables. Gama Asmi, 15th chapter, Krishna describes, Gama Vishya, I enter, I potentize the moon and the sun to nourish the vegetables. So Prabhupada said the taste in vegetables comes from the energy of the moon. Another darkness is the darkness of the heart. The darkness of the heart is the false ego. It is such a thick covering that it makes us forget who we are and what is our relationship with Krishna. And that darkness cannot be removed even if we stand in broad daylight. So that darkness can only be removed by the presence of Krishna. And Krishna's presence is in his form. And for us, as followers of Lord Chaitanya, in Kali Yuga specifically, the form of the Lord may not be accessible, but Krishna is accessible in the form of his holy name. So for a person who has access to and a relationship with the holy name, that darkness of the heart is removed. Cheto darpana marjanam bhavamaha davagni nirvapanam. So Lord Chaitanya is teaching us that the lamentation of a devotee, of a practicing devotee is, although Krishna, you've made yourself very accessible, I don't know how to still access you. I don't know how to access you because I'm not fully ready to access you. Durdaivam. It's my misfortune. Because I have no attraction to you. Although you're all light, although you're all knowledge, and you're the source of all happiness, Ananda, I'm still in this miserable condition. Prabhupada gives the example. There's broad daylight, sun is nicely shining, it's a perfectly clear day. A person can be in their room, draw all their blinds, and go and sleep in the closet and say, there is no light in my life. So there is access. It is for us to make full value. It is for us to take the full benefit of how Krishna is making himself very accessible. He is very eager that he is accessible to us. So, Krishna Surya Sama. He is like the sun. He is not like the sun. He is the one who energizes the sun. Prabha Asmi Shashi Shurayo. So the analogy is given that when there is sunlight, all darkness is dissipated. In fact, it's even before the sun rises that darkness is dissipated. It's called the dawn. Dawn means it's the beginning of an awakening of a new day. So when the holy name is chanted sincerely, even before Krishna is fully manifest as his holy name, even the beginning of it can remove all darkness. It's called the Abhas stage. And in Abhas stage, a person is completely liberated. The word liberated means that there is no material cause for another birth or death. One is completely freed from the bodily conception of life. This is called liberation. So mukti is available. But our process is not about mukti. Our process is about bhakti. And bhakti is where in that state of freedom from bodily conception of life, there is active service. Yesterday's verse, the last line is Shantena. Shantena Samayan Rucha. And Prabhupada says Shantena means satisfying. And Lord Chaitanya's teaching is Bhukti Mukti Siddhi Kami Sakale Ashanta. So even at Mukti stage, it is still Ashanta. Ashanta means not satisfying. The only case or only situation in which one can be fully satisfied is when one has a clear understanding of a relationship with Krishna and Krishna's devotee. If the relationship is not clear, this is a practical thing. If our relationship is not clear, we may be doing all services, we may be doing this or that, and we may be even doing them well, but we will not feel satisfied. We may execute the activities of bhakti nicely, but we cannot be satisfied in the heart. Because that satisfaction comes from sheltered position. Without shelter, one cannot be satisfied. That was the discussion yesterday. Samayan Rucha, by his beauty. And when there is no shelter, one cannot be satisfied. One may be doing everything very nicely. And every living entity has shelter in the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There is no living entity who can say, "Oh, I'm not sheltered by Krishna." So there's usually an analogy given. There are many vehicles. We're talking about vehicles today. So there are many vehicles. There is the car, the bus, the bicycle, a tricycle, an aeroplane, a submarine, a boat. All these vehicles, they have different capacities, they have different speeds, and they have different purposes. Yet, every vehicle is supported by and sheltered by Mother Earth. If Mother Earth was not supporting, none of these vehicles could move. Similarly, we may have different capacities. We may have different services. We may be very different from each other. Yet we are all sheltered by Krishna. Brahmano hi pratishtaham. Krishna supports, shelters even the Brahman effulgence. All of existence is Brahman. That's what's the meaning of Brahmano hi pratishtaham. The idea of existentialism is supported by or is relying on Krishna. Because he's the source of everything. So that sheltered feeling, unless it awakens, one cannot be satisfied. So the purpose, prayojana, through our process of bhakti, yes, is love of God. As we are executing our devotional life, the taste of that fruit is that we feel sheltered by Krishna. And as long as we feel sheltered by Krishna, we can weather any difficulty. We can face any challenge, anything that can be. It can easily be managed as long as one is feeling sheltered by Krishna. The moment that sheltered feeling abates or reduces or whatever happens, then even the smallest of challenges can disturb somebody. So one of the ways of knowing that my execution of devotional service is heading in the right direction is to feel sheltered by Krishna. A tangible feeling of shelter by Krishna is in the shelter of the devotees. That's our fundamental teaching. Okay, any comments, questions? Whoa. Okay, go ahead, ask loud.
So, yesterday we were talking about Tulsi service and how people who have Tulsi tea companies, they can commercially produce Tulsi so nicely. But as devotees, taking care of Tulsi is so difficult. So I'll repeat, commercially people can make nice Tulsi plants. Why is it so difficult being devoted to take care of Tulsi Maharani? And I was saying that my understanding was that one can academically look through books and do that service, and the reciprocation is a material reciprocation. But as devotees, she gives bhakti, so it's a devotional relationship. So there is a different kind of exchange. Like there can be professional kirtaniyas or devotee kirtaniyas. So I was kind of relating to the taking shelter part, that the service to Tulsi Maharani or service to devotees in general is in that mentality of dependence on Krishna and dependence on those devotees to give us strength. Is that the right understanding?
We are dependent on Krishna for everything. We're dependent on Krishna for the success of whatever we're doing. So yeah, in principle, yeah, that's right. Yeah, go ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. You mentioned in your class that, regardless if we acknowledge it or not, that we're all under Krishna's shelter. So could you recommend maybe a nice example prayer or a reference for how to move from that platform of, let's say, passive shelter, where I go about this existence without realizing Krishna's shelter, to wanting to accept the full shelter of Krishna and his devotees?
So prayer or reference? Well, one that comes right away is Sri Ishopanishad, Mantra 15, where the devotee is playing, please remove the glaring effulgence that's covering your face so I may see you. That glaring effulgence is that it's the passive shelter. I can't see. I don't have a tangible experience of that relationship with you. It's an ardent request for mercy to have that relationship. These prachetas are going to offer prayers. It's coming up. It's in the same mood. The passive shelter is also sometimes the darknesses, the sources of darknesses in our heart, or the attachments that don't let us see Krishna. Yet everything that we are trying in this world is somehow made possible by Krishna. 15th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita is a good chapter to study, to see how Krishna is sustaining as the Supreme Person, Purushottama, sustaining the entire universe. And Krishna ends that chapter that one who knows this becomes an ardent devotee of mine. That means a person who understands the 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita carefully moves from passive shelter to very active shelter. So 15th chapter is a beautiful chapter, the Bhagavad Gita. Himanshu's hand was raised, and then what happened? You forgot? Okay. There's Girish, Rasika Manjari, and who else? Goloka Prabhu.
Prabhu, you said when the Brahmanda or the cosmic egg is
Dark.
created, it is dark and it is ignorant. So it is whose ignorance?
It's called Mahat-tattva. It's the mode of ignorance, built using the mode of ignorance, because the residents, the great residents of the Anda, are highly delighted by the mode of ignorance. So for them, that's the residence.
I'm trying to understand the first in the four Divya Yuga cycles. The first cycle is Satya Yuga,
Mm-hmm.
and people are more towards mode of goodness,
Mm-hmm.
less on mode of passion and ignorance.
Right.
So, out of ignorance, how can we start with mode of goodness?
Even the mode of goodness in this realm is still ignorance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is still a material mode of nature. If everyone is, suppose you have a community and everyone is very moralistic, everyone is very clean, organized, and they're very dutiful towards each other, we still can be forgetful of Krishna, for example. So within this world, although there is the three modes of nature, all three modes of nature are still material. Somebody is born in Satyuga because there is still forgetfulness of Krishna, right? Otherwise, why will they be born in this material world? Right? So the original ignorance or false ego is forgetfulness of Krishna, for which one has to take birth here, in this material realm, which is, that forgetfulness is ignorance in its primordial state. Then there is other ignorance, darkness, forgetfulness, loss of memory, etc. Second, feeling sheltered.
In feeling Krishna's shelter,
Yeah.
I was thinking that the way, wherever I am in my Krishna consciousness, the way I can feel Krishna's shelter is through the devotees, the relationships with the devotees.
Correct.
So I remember having multiple discussions with Maharaj, and also I think it was the last Vyasa Puja in New York that Maharaj had, where he was emphasizing a lot that taking shelter of Krishna is not situational.
Right.
But so the relationship with devotees should also not be situational.
Correct.
But at the same time, when discussing with him a little further, he kept emphasizing back to me that it is the relationship eventually it's Krishna. Mm-hmm. It's between you and Krishna. It's between you and Krishna. Like, that was kind of honed in and hammered in. But how am I supposed to see like that when the way I feel Krishna shelters through the devotees? Like,
you want a practical?
Sorry?
You want a practical sense of how to feel? How is it Krishna's shelter?
No, they
How do I
understand
feel
it's Krishna's shelter, but
Krishna's shelter appears in our life through the devotees.
yes, but we feel it through the devotees.
Yes.
But all devotees are going through their own things.
Correct. And? So if
thinking specifically of the situation like when I was asking Maharaj this question also.
Okay.
Where, just to give a hint, the situation in the Farwell house. So, in that situation, it was not shelterless, but it's like it's hard to just see it's between Krishna and me. For me, Krishna's mercy means through this, that, and the other devotee.
Yeah, that is right. It's not Krishna and me. But it is also not that, the whole idea is that Krishna makes himself accessible through a devotee or devotees. Okay? But Krishna is not clouded by the devotee. It's not that you see a devotee and that's it, and this Krishna is somewhere in some background. He's not. Go ahead. You want to say something?
So when that relationship is being
Tested.
not questioned, tested may be the right thing, but there's a back and forth, and it's like I am encouraged to see mine with Krishna, and I'm like, whoa, how can I go all the way there when all I'm able to conceive right now is you and me, or three of you and me.
Okay. While that's what it doesn't mean that Krishna is not accessible at that time. Krishna is accessible. We may not know how to access that. So our acharyas teach us that the best form at that time is, or any time, is the name of Krishna. It is still given by a devotee. We're taught by, we're trained in how to access Krishna, but the access is to Krishna. We are serving the deity. We are dressing the deity every day. You are with Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, or whichever deity you are dressing. You are with them. That access is there. It has been made possible because of a devotee. But the access is still there. It's with Krishna. However, we don't say, my access is to Krishna and it is not dependent on another devotee. Krishna makes himself accessible to every one of us. The access is real, very personal and tangible. We are with Krishna. So that shelter is there. We can pray to Krishna directly. My dear Krishna, please give me your shelter. We can pray. Who taught us to pray like that? It's because of a devotee. What to pray, how to pray. That's what it means, access through a devotee. But it doesn't mean that we cannot access Krishna. Every devotee wants us to access Krishna.
Maybe when I try to do that, I feel unfaithful.
No, that's not correct. You shouldn't feel unfaithful. Every devotee wishes another devotee. Now in this case of the spiritual master's main purpose is to make one jiva feel a relationship with Krishna. He's the medium for it. He's the facilitator of it. But the experience with Krishna is personal, direct. So the standard example given is of Prahlad Maharaj. Narada Muni taught him everything about Krishna. And that's all he did. He remembered Lord Vishnu all the time. And it's not like when the pillar broke, Lord Narasimhadev and Narada Muni came together. Or that Narada appeared. Lord Narasimha appeared. Lord Narasimhadeva touched Prahlad on his head. However, Prahlad's prayer is, my Lord, you have manifested is because the mercy of my spiritual master. So that's the fidelity. But the experience is direct. And one shouldn't feel, maybe if I pray to Krishna, No, it's nice. The spiritual master is happy that we are thinking of Krishna, we are taking shelter of Krishna. Even the spiritual master is empowered by Krishna. Right. So that's what Krishna wants. So that's our access. We are given access to Krishna through the spiritual master. But the access is there. And we can pray to Krishna. We are taught I'm repeating, but we're taught how to pray to Krishna. We're gifted that relationship or the awakening of that relationship by the Guru. Okay, Goloka Prabhu.
Can I continue of that question only?
Yeah.
Like, it seems like sometimes that we say like...
Speak into the mic.
We can access the Krishna through like devotees, but sometimes the devotees like blocks or like try to like interfere like access to spiritual master or Krishna.
Is how we feel?
Sometimes
or the devotee is actually blocking?
We feel sometimes.
Okay.
Like
Sometimes we feel, and that's possible. So both two sides of it. I'm a devotee and someone is blocking my access to Krishna. Whoever that person is blocking my access to Krishna. And there have been cases like that. But nobody can block Krishna from reaching a devotee. So Krishna will find some way. Either remove that person or bring another person from whom Krishna can be accessed. Because after all, Krishna Shakti Vina Nahi Tara Pravartana. That was what was quoted by Maharaj yesterday. So without Krishna's empowerment, one cannot be an instrument of Krishna. What makes a person block somebody's relationship with Krishna? It's called false ego. Ahankara. That ahankara is when from thinking I am the instrument of Krishna to I am the source of mercy for such persons. Indra. Why are these foolish Vrajavasis praying to Govardhan when I am the source of their mercy? They're getting rain because of me. They should worship me. And if they don't get it, I will make sure that they get it. That was his problem. And if we, now the other side, if we become clouds or interference in someone's relationship with Krishna, the word we use in the bhakti language is called intransparency. That intransparency is the most dissatisfying and pinching feeling in the heart. It is there. It's like eating burnt chapati. No taste. Our bhakti cannot have taste. Our mind is completely agitated because we now become the center of things. Why am I not something like that? Then we become envious of Krishna. Yeah, our mind is like that. There's no satisfying position. You have to keep moving. The envy grows towards Krishna because somehow I'm the center of it. So the protection for a devotee against this is to be, what we say, transparent. The transparent is that I'm always looking out for the actual happiness of that devotee. Always, in all circumstances, whenever there is difficulty, my first consideration is what is going to make that devotee happy with Krishna. If I have to swallow my false ego, so be it, I will do so. But that's what is their benefit. And likewise, the other part of that transparency is when credit comes, honor comes, whatever, gratitude comes, I don't hoard it. Yes, I did so. I was the instrument, but I'm not the source of it. Yes, I was the instrument. I helped you in such and such situation. But it is Krishna's mercy. Krishna used me to help you. Krishna could have used someone else. This is called transparency. Transparency is the antidote to envy. We are operating with the default condition that we are envious towards Krishna. Like we have a body. That is, like Maharaj says, it's a flag that tells everyone, look at me, I'm envious of Krishna. That's what it means. You have to have that means when you have a material body, that's our flag. It's our proclamation. So the antidote for that envy is to be transparent. Please use me as an instrument. Is that right? Yeah.
Another question, like here the Prachitas are doing meditation for like 1,000 years.
10,000 years.
10,000 years under the like guidance of Lord Shiva. And on the other hand, the King Prachinabhari went to like on the Ganges, bank of Ganges, under the direction of Narad Muni.
Correct.
And it seems like there is no like a king.
There is no king, correct.
Yeah, like for thousands of years, and they were like surviving on the like.
Correct.
So like it's difficult to understand like the kingdom without the.
That's correct. Exactly, our acharyas describe that King Prachinabhari, he did not wait for his sons to come back. He realized this is the time, and he left. Oh, irresponsible. Whatever. He got the urgency of that situation, he left. And he just left a message for them. Send them an email. Sorry, Daddy not at home. Yes, the kingdom was without the king. King Vena's father, Anga, also left like that. But when he left behind Vena. When Prachinabhari left, he left behind the Prachetas. Very different. You will see the pastime, Prachitas become angry. They become angry at the moon god, because he's the creator or the demigod who manages Vanaspati. The tree, because the trees have grown and there is no land for cult, they become angry. That's coming up. But yes, there was no king. Good point. Nice observation. Acharya Nishta Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu. I had a question about the sun god you were mentioning. Also in Gayatri is invoked. I was wondering if you could explain that a little more. One is appreciating the sun.
One is praying to the form of Vishnu within the sun called Surya Narayana.
Yeah, that was the point I was wondering if you could explain.
Oh, explain what it is? Gayatri has 3 sections. You name the deity, you make a appreciation, and then you say that I'm meditating on such and such. Right? For example, the Bhagavatam begins with Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, and it ends with Dhimahi. Right? Satyam Param Dhimahi. So all Gayatri, the invocation of Gayatri has this Dhimahi, I am meditating on. So there are different Gayatris. The Brahma Gayatri is a little on the impersonal side, meaning I'm meditating on that potency, that personality that has illuminated this entire universe. The Bhu, Bhuvar and Svarg realms of the entire universe. And that illumination in this universe, he makes it possible through the agency of the sun. Savitra actually. In the 5th canto, where the structure of the universe is being discussed. Why is it being discussed? It is to help us appreciate that Gayatri mantra, that how Krishna manifests this entire universe, the structure of it, and how the sun moves along his, the orbit of the sun is called something, I forget. It's called the elliptical, but there's some term for it. I'm having whatever, the elliptical. It moves in the elliptical for a particular reason, so that it can illuminate the entire universe. And this entire universe is, although an egg, cosmic egg, the arrangement of the constellations and stars around in this is in the form of a dolphin called Shishumara. And the yogis meditate on this dolphin. And at the tip of its tail is Shvetadvipa or Dhruvaloka, the pole star. And on the right fin are the 7 sage, I forget the structure, so don't quote me exactly, but on the fin here is this constellation, on this fin here is this set of planets, along the spine are all these planets, etc., etc. And here is where the Earth planet is situated. So that meditation on the Shishumara is to appreciate the energizing of Krishna within this universe, because he's sustaining us. We're being sustained by the sun planet because Krishna has energized the sun to do so. Dhimahi. I meditate on that. Many people think that it's a prayer to goddess Gayatri, or it is impersonal meditation. It's not.
I've heard and I've read that I'm curious about the position of the deity of the sun god, because in one sense it's considered like a demigod, but it seems some places in the Bhagavatam it's referred to as Lord Narayan residing within the sun.
Right.
Which would seem a little contradictory.
There is a form of the Lord called Surya Narayana, But Surya Deva is the predominator of that planet. He's empowered to make the sun move within its elliptical. Travels at 16,000 miles per second.
And Lord Narayan is also present in the sun planet?
Well, Lord Narayan is present in every atom, in that sense. I have not heard the explanation where Lord Narayan per se like that, but he's called Surya Narayana in the sense that he is the personality that energizes the sun planet.
Just because it was on my mind, I was trying to find the verse. Maybe I can read the purport. I found the purport that I was thinking
Sure.
of. And maybe you can explain. It says the predominating deity within the sun is Hiranmaya.
Hiranmaya, correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
Next sentence. Lord Narayan. Next sentence. He is worshipped by the Gayatri mantra. Om Bhur Bhuvaswa Tat Savitur Varinyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi. He is also worshipped by other hymns mentioned in the Rig Veda. For instance, Dheya Sada Savitra Mandala Madhyaya Varti. Within the sun, Lord Narayan is situated, and he has a golden hue.
Right. That was exactly the purport I was mentioning. Hiranmaya, within every planet, within every atom, is a manifestation of the Supreme. Correct? So when Krishna says, Prabha Asmi Shashi Shuryo, that's the reference here, that he is energizing the sun planet, and we worship the Lord Narayana as Surya Narayana. Narayana. So it seems to indicate that there is a form of Lord Narayana residing in the sun planet. But that's what it seems to indicate.
Okay, sorry
It's
to...
the same. No, it's the same purport I'd read because I had memorized that line, Savitra Mandale Madhyavarti, because that gave me like a special meaning for chanting of my Gayatri mantra.
Yeah, it's very fascinating. Thanks. I was
It's
just trying to
thrill.
understand.
If you read the rest of the canto, the structure of the universe is very thrilling. It's way over the top. It's very thrilling. Someone else said something? Okay. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.